This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have another good neighbor on with us, and that is April Sackfield of Fiscal Accounting. How are you this morning, love?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. The sun is shining, so when I got out of bed, one of the best ways to wake up out of that grogginess, I just went and stood out at the window and had the sun shining in my face. Lo and behold, 15 minutes later, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice all week, I think. Let's hope.
Well, looking at least safe. It's going to be cold. Give me the sun. I can handle that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. We've never met before, and I'm sure our listeners are curious as well. Why don't we dive right into it? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
So I started this a couple of years ago, Fiscal Accounting. I used to work in accounting, doing tax and audits, and I realized very soon into it that a lot of companies don't know how to manage their finances, their books, their business, everything in general, and lost out on a lot of opportunities, overspending, not spending in the right spots, not understanding their numbers. So I quit and made the jump and went off on my own.
Very cool. So do you still offer the kind of, accounting, bookkeeping component, or are you kind of solely on the book, the kind of coach strategy side, or you amalgamate those both?
It's all together. So I usually, I ideally want to grow with clients. So having someone who's just at their basics, just needed bookkeeping, it's fine. But if they're truly a growing company, I grow with them, help them put in the proper processes with technology, whether it's accounts payable, accounts receivable, whatever all that is, and kind of grow with them. Because I notice a lot of people think, when I was in the industry, that bookkeepers do everything, and it's they enter in the data. If you truly want a growing business, you need a proper accounting management. And so that's what I do.
Nice. Very cool. It definitely something, Jeff and I are plugged in. We know a lot of business owners in our local community, obviously through the show and the networking events that we host as well. You hear it just in conversation. We hear it on the show, asking people about their journey, which I'm going to ask you that question next. A lot of people, they become a business owner. It's, I found a better way to do something, or I had a bad experience, and there's not a lot of good experiences that they've had personally, so I can do this better. Maybe it's a product or service that could be done better. And then a lot of times it happens, dive in and just focus on, kind of the sales aspect of growing the business. And then realizing after, it's like, oh, I need to get an HST number. I need to have somebody do my bookkeeping. I don't really kind of are familiar with that asset. Plus, let's all be honest, it takes a special person to do accounting and bookkeeping.
Yes. And I think a problem with a lot of business owners, they look at it as a cost and not an investment. So they think it's just like I don't know how to word it, but, it's just an afterthought, get someone cheap to do it because all I need it done is for taxes. And your taxes are usually based off your books, but putting that aside, if you're looking, it's a skill set to really understand and do all the costing and proper management. And if you're looking at growing, it's an investment, not a cost, which I think is where a lot of small business, even just not even small businesses in general, they just look at it as a cost.
Yeah, 100%. So everybody's got a bit of a journey into getting into doing what they're doing. Some people, they come into life and they know exactly what they're doing and they go to school for it and then they do it and then they retire that way. A little bit more prevalent, I think, back in the day. Today's day and age, maybe not so much, but there's still people out there. And then there's others, a couple stepping stone here or there. They find it early, and then others, it's like the Mazda commercial. Your zoom all the way all over the place, and then finally later in life they land on what they're super passionate about. It's always nice to be able to do something that we enjoy, but it's always fascinating to ask somebody, well, hey, what were you doing before this? So tell us a little bit about your journey leading up to doing what you're doing.
This is a little interesting. I never was actually in accounting. I used to be in marketing, brand management. And so I worked for a pretty big company on a pretty big account. I don't like dropping names, but it's known. And so I was in marketing for quite a while. I left it. I did consulting for a bit and realized small businesses were at that point struggling with numbers. So I did something not too many people do. I was like, I'm going to go become an accountant. And so I did that. And then that's why I left, because I realized so much of what else I knew in marketing comes down to product development, which is all costing. I realized that a lot of business owners miss the, I guess word it is, I get really irritated when people miss out in cost and spending and opportunities. And a lot comes down to they don't know their numbers. So I kind of went into this to merge my passion for marketing and business development with accounting and kind of merge it all. And my end goal is just help business grow and make money. I would always even tell my colleagues when I was in accounting, I'd always be annoyed and be like, why is this company spending this much money here? Do they not know they're getting no return? Like, their marketing strategy is wrong. And some people don't realize that accounting ties back to that, because you do the cost analysis and you realize what the ROI is on your marketing. Like, it's all ties back to the proper data. So really guiding companies through and navigating to make sure they have, I don't do their marketing, but I can tell them from a number standpoint whether it's working or not, and really deep dive into that. So that's kind of, accounting, marketing, accounting. Now I'm on my own.
Very cool story. I mean, I would agree. Like, I'd say 95%, 90% have never been taught or shown how to even build out a marketing budget to be able to, that's a super important thing. Like, if you buy too little or you buy too much, it's straight on the cash flow. You buy too little, and then your goals are not aligned with the actual spend, and then the lack of knowledge on it, then it's like, well, marketing doesn't work. Well, it's like, yeah, it does. You need to buy the right amount.
Right. And even going back to the data entries, a lot of companies don't set out their books in detail. They'll just do things in general, like, I sold $500 today. That's great, but what was it? And even breaking down to have the proper products being categorized, you can understand who is buying your product and what you should be putting your marketing campaigns towards. And a lot don't do that. They just look at it and say, oh, I've just sold this much. And, the more detail, the more data, the better information you have, and the better it helps you grow and manage your business, understand your numbers. But
knowledge is power for sure.
Yeah. They just, in general, a lot just don't, I don't know whether they don't value it or don't understand. A lot of the stuff is at your fingertips, and it's just entering in and categorizing it differently.
So I said earlier, it takes like a special person to do accounting and bookkeeping, because numbers are numbers. Not everybody's a numbers fan. So were you kind of a fan of numbers, growing up and stuff like that, to be able to make that switch?
Yeah, always have been. I understand numbers. If I was good at English, I'd probably be a lawyer. But I still joke around and things like, I still don't know the difference between then and that. And I'm like, just give me numbers. I understand numbers. They talk to me. I can tell your story through numbers. Ask me to write it. No. So even through high school, college, university, I always stuck to only classes that were numbers. The second it was something that had to be writing, I was like, nope, not taking it.
Well, in this day and age, at least you got ChatGPT now, so that at least will fix some of the grammar. It's like, hey, Chat, can you just make this sound professional and write this up nice, please? Yeah.
So it's very handy. So a lot of people don't like the whole AI and ChatGPT. Someone like me who's not good at writing, I'm like, this just helps me out so much. I need it. So.
Yeah. Again, it all boils down to knowledge and education when it comes to all the things we're talking about, from marketing to your books to having your dollars and cents categorized the right way, the financial strategy to set you up for success, all the way to ChatGPT. You were saying there's some people that don't like it. Well, take it into context, right? Yeah. If I'm asking it to write me out an essay and I don't know the information that I'm writing about it, and I'm relying on Chat to make it for me, that's one thing. But having the content already written and putting it through Chat to clean it up and make it sound professional, or to add some empathy, or to have it delivered in a more professional manner. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people are afraid of ChatGPT and AI, and I think it's a benefit, but it comes down to knowing how to use it properly.
It is literally our life. We use it a lot.
Yeah.
So definitely understand the benefits.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, I think a lot of people think AI is just, you have to power it. I think they think it's all automatic, and a lot of software out there, and people don't even realize, is so ran off of AI and automation. And when people say they don't want to do that, and I'd be like, well, you're on this, you're already using it. You just don't know it. Everything's using it now.
Totally. Okay, I want to ask you, when it comes to your line of work, are there any myths, any misconceptions out there that you hear from people you'd like to clear the air on?
I'm sure there's a lot, but I'm drawing a blank. That the industry's boring. And I think it used to be. And in my opinion, industry professions have had a really bad job of branding and marketing accounting. I think a lot of people think accounting is, crunching the books, sitting there, boring. I find that is not the case. Like, we're engaged with so many different clients every day, helping them with different aspects, whether it's setting up the proper IT with their accounting systems, helping them pull off data and make business decisions, which I think a lot of people don't know that really is accounting. I think there's just, everyone thinks of the guy writing the pencil, sitting all nerdy in the desk and not doing anything. And I think that's where the industry's done a bad job of marketing it. And with AI and technology, it's really changing. Like, I feel I'm more IT than accounting. And so when I have people come on board or look, they're like, oh, I didn't realize this is accounting. I'm like, it is. It's not just doing the taxes and the audit at the end of the year. It's actually helping people make decisions and grow their business. So it makes it fun.
Yeah, that was a question. You kind of answered it there. It's like, well, what are you doing to try to make it fun or help make those distinctions between people or what they think or have in their mind?
Yeah. So, and that's what we do every day. I'm talking to different business owners. Pretty much all my clients, I only deal with them on a monthly basis. We don't do even the basic shoebox bookkeeping. So you're a growing business who needs monthly support. Some of my clients are weekly, and we just run everything. We do all their bill payments. We send them their management reports. We let them know, your labor hours are too high this month. This person's slacking on the job, because some of the data we get is very in detail, and it kind of makes it fun. Even one of the software we use in the trades, there's a dispatch board and GPS, and you can actually see where all the guys are going. So sometimes going in and being like, oh, he's been idle here for quite a while. I don't think he's working.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. And that's where the software is really, I don't think people are aware of how advanced a lot of the software has gotten, and using it correctly in your business helps you save money. Especially anyone who's labor intensive, like the trades where everything's billed off, the hour, and you don't want guys being idle. Yes, the software out there available is expensive, but if you use it, it really does save your company money and grow it, but you have to be willing to use it. So people who are tech resistant and then dump all this money in technology, you're just wasting your money if you're not using it.
Yeah, I keep belaboring this. I sound like a broken record. Like, knowledge is power, right? So if you have those data points, those analytics to be able, it's like on the marketing side, having the right analytics to be able to take a look at trends, and if things are moving in the right direction, help you find bottlenecks in your business. The same thing here, right? You have the right data and analytics. It's like, well, Joey took a little bit longer on his lunch breaks and seems to like to do that every single day. That's an important thing for somebody to know.
Yeah. And I think a lot of small businesses, per the government's definition, a small business is anyone under 49 employees, which to me, that's a very big range itself. But a lot of people think all the software and this data is only available for the bigger businesses. And, just as something as utilizing QuickBooks the proper way, this data is there for you. It's a matter of collecting it and setting it up correctly, which I think a lot of small businesses don't realize, that they are also able to get this data.
Yeah, very well said. I think you're definitely going to perk some ears if there's a business owner listening to this one and saying, you just said save money, and then you just said grow my business, and then you just said using the data points correctly. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and we seem to work as much as everyone's like, oh, we use any business, I seem to be getting a niche with lawyers and trades. And I don't know how that happened, because when I started this business, I never thought I would those two areas were something that I would never get clients in. And that is where it's all came from, is trades and lawyers, and then the trickle of other industries. But yeah.
Yeah, you got quite the disparaging difference between those two industries.
Yes, that's why I'm going through a bit of a rebrand right now. So I have, they're not finalized. It's nothing I could speak to, but I've completely broken off, and I'm having a brand specifically for the trades, because the needs of the trades are not the same as the lawyer. Like, they can be two opposite industries. Even the software needs, workflows, completely different. So yeah, I actually thought when I did this, I'd get more. I know the restaurant industry pretty well. So I thought that would be my niche, and it's not at all.
Well, hey, whatever's working. That brand difference, this distinguishing the two different arms, or the main arms that you have there. Obviously, you help more than just those two industries, but when you're talking about your message and how it lands and it comes across, avoiding confusion, less friction as possible, I think that's a smart idea on your point.
Yeah. I had to, because even just myself trying to develop a marketing plan, and I'm like, this just isn't working. Like, it's got to be different.
Very cool. Well, look, I've got another question for you. It's my favorite question to ask because I like to have a lot of fun. Jeff and I, we work a lot, just like a lot of other business owners. When you're super passionate about what you do, it doesn't really feel like work, right?
Right.
And so you could tend to maybe work a little bit longer than the average, but it never truly feels like work because we're so passionate. So it's the word balance. It's not the right word, because balance means everything's equal. So I like to use the word harmony, finding that tune that bodes well, and having a good friction there is it's important. Be able to work on your business, in your business, but then have a life outside, and have business be an integration of your life and not two different things. So when you're not working on or in your business, what does April like to do for fun?
Well, I have 2 dogs, so I'll take them out hiking.
Yes.
I do like restaurants and coffee shops, so I will go down to Toronto, explore, spend a day down there doing something. I do ski. I like the outdoors, so I ski. I throw people off. I hunt, so I'm a hunter. I kind of go out with friends, hang out with my nieces and nephews. I kind of made, because like you said, there's really no balance when you're an entrepreneur. So I just kind of, my mentality is my downtime is working, but when something comes up, it doesn't matter what time of day it is, I always say yes to it, because I was probably already working all day. So I find I'm getting better with I wasn't at first, but now I'm getting better with the balance. Like, for example, today I'm having lunch with friends I haven't seen in a while, and I don't care if it's midday and it's a business day. I'll just work tonight. Like, you just have to sacrifice the off times. But yeah, that's probably anything outdoors. I find them, for the most part, I'm pretty adventurous. I'm not too into the fishing, but I will go ice fishing in the winter. I feel it's Canada. You got to find something to enjoy it. I'm not actually a fan of the cold, but again, I ski. It's better than just staying indoors all winter. I would probably say that's it. Tennis. I like tennis. So I'm playing actually winter tennis. So do that.
Tennis is a hard sport, and that's not an easy sport.
Yeah. I attempt to golf. I will show up on the golf course. Whether I'm good or not, it's a different thing, but I will go golfing.
I got lucky. My fiance loves golfing, and we got out a few times this year. Next year, we're aiming to do it a little bit more. It's just one of those sports, like, you have to enjoy a certain component of it, like just being out there on the course, not necessarily how you're playing. And then it takes a little while just to get the fundamentals down. I saw this picture on social media the other day. I've got golf stuff coming at my way on Facebook all the time, and it's like 2.5 degrees is the difference between whether you're hitting the fairway or not hitting the fairway.
Yeah.
So you look at that, you're like, man, if everybody knew that before they were going to sign up for golf, nobody would play golf.
Exactly. And that's where you just go. Golf's one thing. You just go out for the fun. You just go out, enjoy the day. Again, because it's outdoors, I love it. I'm quite content being outside. That's the one thing is the downside of being an accountant. We are inside.
Yeah.
I've tried to work outside, even getting the proper screen protect. And I was like, you can't work outside on a laptop. Like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I've tried to do that a few times in the gazebo outside in my backyard, and not always the best. Sun and the glare, even though I got the screen in there. Actually, I was in there one time. Remember, like a few years ago, I think it's going on like 4 now, we had those crazy caterpillars like everywhere.
Yes.
I was outside when they were all like coming off the trees. I was just looking at my gazebo, and I had like all of them coming down from the top, and they're coming in through the top of the screen. And I'm like, is the world coming to an end? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. And that should be, because that was they say what, every 7 years. It's bad for the caterpillars. So I think we're due for that in another 3 years. But yeah, I remember it was so bad. And they're cutting down lots of trees.
Yeah. They said, because they'll like cocoon, so they could come back the next day. I think you needed like 3 straight days of like -25. And I think we actually got that like once in that winter, and then they didn't come back.
Okay.
So, but yeah, like you said, cyclical. I think ladybugs are coming up soon. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me about skiing. You have a preference on a hill here? Does it matter? Do you head out to like Mont Tremblant, things like that?
No, I stay local, Blue Mountain. I didn't get it too much last year because we didn't really have a winter. I think we had a handful of nice snow days, and then the 1 week where we had lots of snow, I was away on vacation. So I like Horseshoe as well. It's closer. Horseshoe's nice and close, but obviously Blue's a bit bigger, more variety. I keep saying every year I'm going to go out west or down to the States somewhere and ski, and it just doesn't happen, because if I'm taking a week off, it's going warm. It's not going, I'm not going somewhere cold. I'm going somewhere warm.
Yeah, that totally makes a lot of sense. Jeff and I snowboard.
Okay.
And when my parents, they were living in Oro, and they moved in 2019. They moved into Midhurst, and so through that move, because when they were in 2019, I bought my house here, and I'd moved back for a bit, so I had all my gear and my board at my parents' place, and then in the move, I lost my helmet, my goggles, and my boots. And my boots are really, really nice. They're like walking on a cloud. They're so comfy. I love those boots. And I just found them last year. So I couldn't go for a few years. I knew they were around. I thought my mom sold them. She didn't. And now they're sitting there in my garage. So I think I might be able to get out on the slopes this year.
Yeah. Hopefully we have snow. It's even for being mid-November, it's still pretty mild out. I think this time last year, we already had snow.
Yeah, we did. And we had a nice little period there of, well, it wasn't nice, but that transition, right? Where you get the ice and the sleet and the rain. So hopefully this year it just comes. Give me like 2 weeks before Christmas. Let the snow fly till like March. I'm good with that every year.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what was it? A few years ago, they all stayed open until like April. We had that really long November to April season a few years ago.
Yeah, I got lucky. I just put the Christmas lights on Saturday, and then Sunday was absolutely garbage. And I got super, super lucky. It was really nice outside. Tell me about your dogs.
I have 2. So Berlin's the bigger one. He is mainly a shepherd. Pretty big for a shepherd. He's a shepherd lab retriever mix, which is surprising because he's too big to be all of 3 of them. So they wonder, I got them DNA tested to see what they actually were. And that's what he came back as. Cool. But he's about 5'6" when he stands up on his hind legs and 120 pounds. So, and then the other one, it was a rescue, and she was a rescue. So I got her as a rescue, and I have no idea what she is. She's from Dominican, 40 pounds of, I don't know what. Even her DNA, I got her DNA tested, and it came back very weird. So yeah. So that's it. Just 2 dogs and me. Yeah,
we got 2 here as well. Julie has a Chihuahua. He just turned 6 yesterday, and his name is Rambo. He's a yapper at the front door, but the most chill Chihuahua you've ever met. He's like insanely laid back, which is cool because knowing how Chihuahuas are.
Yeah.
And then Jax is our Australian Shepherd. He's a red tri.
Okay.
So he's got the red and the white, and then the kind of the cream color. And he's 3.5, and he is an oversized dog. His dad was 44 pounds. His mom was 40. So the breeder's like, yeah, he's going to be, in there. And he's like 69 pounds.
And so yours is like mine, where they just got the random, like, guess he had the genes to be a bigger dog. I don't know.
Yeah. And the small dog thinks he's the big dog, and the big dog thinks he's the
Pretty
small
much.
one. So he wants to sit on your lap, and he's just this big lug, and he's like a furnace. So
yeah.
you can't snuggle with him too long, because then he gets too hot, you get too hot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in life, we pick our path, right? We walk this path, and we decide yep, that's the path I'm going to walk, and it's the path of life. And life isn't always easy. It's never necessarily fair, but things happen. Life will throw challenges our way, obstacles. We'll experience hardship, sometimes tragedies. And I've always been fascinated with human beings and their ability to be able to overcome these things that happen in life, right? Because we have to move forward. That's life. And mindset is everything with this, right? Being able to see the glass half full, pulling silver linings for things that happen to us. Growth happens when we get uncomfortable, when things happen, adversity, and we learn from those things, we become better. And so I wanted to ask you, have you ever experienced a hardship, a life challenge that maybe you overcame, maybe it made you better, maybe it made you stronger, maybe you pulled some silver linings from it?
That I don't know, but I would say just going off and starting your own thing is a challenge all right there. I did it. I had a job and I just quit, and it's, to quit and have no income. All of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm in hustle mood. Like where's this money coming from? And I would say that would probably be my biggest obstacle or challenge, is just making that, you always hear stories of people who do it half-time on the side, or, I just was cold turkey done. I was at a big accounting firm down in the city, and I just decided overnight, I'm like, I'm done. I'm going off on my own. And I was like, wow, I have bills and no money coming in. So the hustle. But I know for me, I've always been a worker. I've worked multiple jobs. So I was kind of like, it's out there, I'll figure it out. And that's what I would probably say the biggest challenge is figuring it out. Like I said, when I first started this, I thought I'd be more, because I basically grew up in the restaurant industry. I've worked in it since I was 14. A lot of people actually recognize me as their bartender, not their accountant. I've gotten that a few times because I bartended for a very long time, but I've always, which is where I always thought I'd get more restaurant clients, and I had none, but it was all just a big learning curve, figuring it out. Things that I know with starting up this business, I did a lot of things opposite than what the advice says, because they always were like, oh, start your niche market, target it. I'm very happy I didn't. And I was very general, because I probably would have spent a lot of money marketing towards an industry I was getting no work for. And now I know where the work's coming from. So now I can actually do real good marketing. But that's what I would say the biggest is just, being vulnerable and figuring out, where's my next paycheck coming from, how I'm going to pay my bills, and and being a hustler.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I mean, I've taken a lot of risks in my life, been fortunate. I would say lucky, because hard work is the main driver of having a higher success chance in anything you do in life, if you have the right mindset and you put your head down and focus on your task at hand. I mean, anybody can accomplish anything. Never tell yourself that you can't accomplish or can't do anything. You can. You just got to apply yourself and discipline yourself to get to where you want to go. I landed in the car business. I worked in there for 9 years doing automotive marketing. We built it from scratch here. It's the first guy on the ground. And then we built it to like a $12.5 million business.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome. Like, I learned how to be a leader. I learned how to manage people. I had like 6 account managers under us. And then about 42 event managers. We had quite a large staff, and there's like 4 main kind of competitors out there, and we were kind of regarded as the top choice. Super results base driven. It was in client retention, some digital marketing there. Help dealers retain their clients, invite their own clients back to do a special event type of thing, and then COVID hit. And the plant in Taiwan did like 60% of the world's microchips. Apple takes 60% of that 60, and the car biz takes like 20, and like Canada gets it almost last. So just, you watch everything you built for 9 years just kind of crumble under you, and you're not in control, and decided to, things were kind of going sour there, the way I was getting treated and whatnot. So I kind of took that leap of faith, and then I got into the wrong thing. I didn't know that there wasn't a shut off button in that particular business. So you put 9 months into something else and then realize, oh no.
Yeah.
And then decide to do it again into what we're doing today. But you're digging yourself a hole, trying to get yourself off the ground for that. And then, like anything, when you start into something new, it takes a while before you finally kind of get yourself to where you need to be from the business side, and then of course on the financial side. So totally understand the struggle there, 100%.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing, I know if anyone listens to podcasts about all sorts of stuff, is don't say taking people's advice, but always learning. I think that's the one downfall, even when I deal with clients is they think they know it all, is especially with me, like I learn every day. I'm trying to learn, even if it's reaching out to someone in the industry to say, I'm having this issue. What do you do? Like I've always been open-minded that everything I do is learning. So I in everything I do, a lot of people have the mentality of, I'm not going to do this unless I get a sale or I make money out of it. So if I go to something that's not maybe right for me, I always look at like, how can I learn? What can I learn to educate my clients or myself to better myself in this business? And I find being open-minded to learning has been my biggest growth factor and that's helped me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. People are afraid to fail, and that's where the growth happens, is when you fail forward. And it's like we keep talking about it, like the mindset. If you just have the right mindset, if you're looking at something a certain way, it can really help shape the outcome of how you continue to move forward from that. But if you don't fail, you ain't going to learn anything.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing.
No.
So let me ask you, what's one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business?
That we are in the business of helping you grow and make money. I would probably, as weird as that sounds, say that because a lot of people just look at services like mine that you're just your staple, like going for an oil change. It's just something you got to do, versus really understanding the benefit of having proper bookkeeping, accounting, controls, functions within your company, and how it can really help you grow your business so that we're more than just numbers. I actually care. Sometimes I'm like, why do I care about this client? Why am I caring more about their business than they do? And it's happened. I've made that comment a few times. I'm like, why should I be the one caring here when they don't care? Like but I think that's the biggest thing, is we're just not your typical provider. We are in the business of wanting you to grow and make money, and help you, and not even grow, like help you keep your money. Because it's the hardest thing in business. They always say it's really easy to make it. It's hard to keep it. So putting in, proper budgeting and planning and helping you keep the money. And the other thing, probably as well as a lot of small businesses don't know, this is your retirement plan. So I don't think a lot of small business owners go into the idea of, what am I going to do if I retire? Kind of like looking down the road of what you need to do to sell your business and how you can get that money out of it. Especially probably going back to the trade comment, we have a lot of tradespeople about to retire. It's no different than the accounting industry. No one's buying these businesses because they never had they can't produce proper numbers to show if they were profitable or not. They don't have proper systems, technology in place, so no one wants to buy them. And that's a lot of small businesses. That's their retirement.
Yeah, I've spoken to a bunch of business coaches in my life. And, when you go into business, you also have to plan your exit strategy before you even go into business. Not a lot of people think about that.
Yeah. And that's one thing. When I started this, I went into being like, how am I going to get out? So whether it's selling to someone, maybe someone internally wants to buy, but what is that plan? Because one day I have to go out and I can't just close the door and be like, see you guys, find someone else to help you.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that was a very enlightening and educational conversation that we just had together. Definitely know there's going to be some people that are interested, that want to learn a little bit more on some of the strategies that you offer out there. And so for those who are interested, what would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and reach you?
Email. So email is the best way. You can email us at hello@fiscalaccounting.ca. And then we will send a link to book a discovery call and just, get to know the business, see if we're fit, what they need. Because everything is through email. It's just so much easier. Phone calls just creates a bunch of phone tag going back and forth. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one benefit to all the different ways people can communicate with each other, but certainly the best. So give us that email one more time.
hello@fiscalaccounting.ca, or you can go to our website and leave in the top left, it will say book an appointment. You can just do it through our website. So fill in a little form, it'll bring up the calendar, book in your time, and there we go.
Awesome stuff. Well, appreciate you coming on the show. It was a great opportunity to meet you, learn a little bit more about you and your business, and looking forward to maybe doing this again down the line.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com or call 705-413-3775.